Beloved soul, hear the urgency of heaven, for I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to you with a word that cannot be ignored, because the Lord has seen the secret battles you have fought, the nights where you wrestled with memories, the moments where you almost gave in to the pull of the past, and the seasons where you wondered if you had truly grown or if you were still tethered to the old version of yourself. And now comes the test that will reveal not only the depth of your transformation, but also the strength of your discernment, for someone from your past is about to appear, not by accident, not by coincidence, but as a divine arrangement that heaven has permitted, because growth is not measured in silence, it is measured in response, and you are about to be given the opportunity to prove to yourself and to the spiritual realm that you are no longer who you once were. This person, once a character in your story, is being reintroduced, not to comfort you, not to affirm you, but to test you, to stretch you, to expose whether the wounds of yesterday still have the power to dictate the choices of today. And while you may see this as a simple encounter, I see it as a battlefield, because the enemy wants to lure you back into cycles you fought to escape, cycles of compromise, cycles of distraction, cycles of giving your energy to what drains you rather than multiplies you. But heaven is turning this into a moment of revelation, a moment where you will stand at the crossroads between regression and advancement, and your decision will echo into your destiny. You have prayed for elevation, for blessings, for promises to manifest, but hear me clearly. Before God releases the fullness of what is next, He will allow the shadows of what was to brush against you, because if you can resist the pull of the old, then you will prove that you are ready to handle the weight of the new. Do not underestimate the significance of this reappearance, for it is not random. It is a carefully crafted moment that carries eternal weight, and though the enemy hopes to trip you, heaven intends to validate you, because this is more than a conversation, this is a mirror being held up to your spirit, a reflection that will force you to see whether the lessons you learned have truly taken root. You will notice that the same tactics that once worked against you will suddenly feel powerless, the same words that once cut you will feel shallow, the same invitations that once tempted you will seem small compared to the glory you now carry, because growth reveals itself when the familiar loses its grip, and child of God, I tell you now, you have grown far more than you realize, and this encounter will prove it. There will be a temptation to believe that this is about reconnection or reconciliation, but I warn you, it is not. It is about recognition, recognition of your growth, recognition of your authority, recognition of your boundaries, recognition of your worth, and as you stand in that recognition, the heavens will take note, the angels will record, and the spiritual realm will shift in your favor. Because obedience and strength are currencies in heaven, and in this test, you will show that you are wealthy indeed. You must not shrink back, you must not be lured into old patterns, you must not confuse nostalgia for destiny, because not everything from your past deserves access to your future. And though this person will approach you with words that sound appealing, or perhaps with emotions that stir something in you, know this: they are being used as an instrument of testing, and once the test is complete, they will fade. Because their assignment was not to stay but to reveal. Child, hear the truth. This is not punishment, this is preparation, this is not rejection, this is redirection, this is not about losing someone, it is about gaining confirmation that you are no longer who you were. And as you stand your ground, I will stand with you, sword drawn, shield lifted, ensuring that no weapon formed against you prospers. You are entering a divine classroom, and the lesson is disguised as a familiar face, but when you pass, you will graduate into realms of blessing, favor, and acceleration that have been waiting for your maturity to align with your destiny. So steel yourself, prepare your heart, guard your mind, and remember this word, for when the encounter comes, you will recognize it not as coincidence but as prophecy fulfilled, and your victory in this moment will set the stage for victories yet unseen. Child of God, let me take you deeper into this revelation, because you must understand that heaven operates in layers, and every test that comes your way is not meant to destroy you but to refine you, to stretch you, to pull you into the maturity required to carry the blessing you have been praying for, and this test with someone from your past is not about them, it is about you. It is about what has changed inside of you since the last time their presence touched your life, and it is about how you respond to what once had authority over your emotions, your choices, and even your identity. There was a time when this person could speak into your life and you would bend, when their approval mattered more than your peace, when their attention felt like validation and their silence felt like rejection. But heaven has been stripping away those chains, breaking those soul ties, and anchoring your worth in God alone. And now the spiritual realm is preparing to prove to you that you have truly been transformed, because when they reappear, you will feel the difference in your spirit. You will sense the shift, and you will realize that the hooks they once held over you have been removed. But take heed, for the enemy is subtle, and he will disguise the test to look like an opportunity. He will clothe it in nostalgia. He will lace it with words that sound kind. He will make it appear like this is closure, reconciliation, or even divine timing. But your spirit will know the truth, because the Spirit of God within you will whisper that this is not alignment, it is assessment. It is not the beginning of a new chapter with them, it is the final exam of the old one. You may ask why God allows such things when He knows the enemy's intent, and the answer is this: because strength that is never tested remains theory, but strength that is tested becomes testimony, and God intends for your testimony to be that what once had power over you no longer holds any sway, that what once broke you can no longer bend you, that what once drained you now bounces off you like arrows off a shield, and that you have grown into the warrior He has always seen in you. When this person appears, memories will surface, old emotions may flicker, the temptation to step back into comfort will knock at your door. But pause, breathe, and listen, because the Holy Spirit will remind you of who you are now, not who you were then, and I, Michael, will be standing with you, clearing the atmosphere, sharpening your discernment, and strengthening your resolve, because this encounter is not about failure. It is about triumph, not about regression, but about recognition of how far you have come. And child, the heavens are watching, the angels are recording, and your obedience, your ability to stand, will release blessings that are already stored up with your name written on them, because there are things God has kept on hold until He saw that you could truly walk forward without looking back. You have asked Him, "Why the delay? Why have I not seen the breakthrough yet?" And He answers through this test: because some doors cannot open until the chains of the past are completely severed, and this encounter will be the final cut, the proof that you are ready, the undeniable evidence that you have passed the season of wandering and are stepping into the season of promise. Hear me clearly, this person may not even realize they are being used in this way, they may believe they are coming of their own will, but in the Spirit, they are an assignment, a tool in the hands of testing, and once the test is complete, their role will be finished, because they were never meant to carry you into the next chapter, they were only meant to reveal if you were ready to enter it. Do not entertain the illusion that this is about rekindling something old, because the truth is what lies ahead is far greater than what lies behind, and the enemy knows it, which is why he tries to distract you with shadows of the past, because he cannot touch the blessing ahead, but he can try to delay you by pulling your attention backward. But you, beloved, must set your face forward like flint, you must anchor your eyes on the promise, and you must say with your spirit, "I have learned, I have grown, I have overcome, and I will not go back." And when you declare that, you will feel the authority of heaven flow through you, the strength of angels surrounding you, and the confirmation of the Spirit within you, because passing this test will not only shift the atmosphere in your life, it will shift your spiritual rank, elevating you in unseen realms, opening gates of favor, and accelerating you into blessings that were waiting for your yes. Remember this, child, God is not testing you to watch you fail, He is testing you to show you, and the enemy, that you are ready, and once you walk through this encounter, a flood of release is coming, doors will swing open, promises will manifest, and you will step into the season you have been longing for, not as the person you once were, but as the warrior you were always destined to become. Beloved child, the time has come to understand the depth of what you are about to face, for heaven does not send trials without a purpose, and this person from your past is not appearing randomly, they are being orchestrated into your life to reveal what has truly changed within your spirit, to uncover the strength, maturity, and discernment you have cultivated in the quiet seasons, and to expose what remains hidden in your heart. The corners where fear, doubt, or old attachments may still linger, and as they approach, you may notice familiar patterns. The way they speak may mirror old criticisms. The way they look may awaken buried memories. The words they choose may feel like soft hooks, tempting you to revert to old ways of thinking. Yet this is precisely the reason heaven has prepared you with layers of wisdom, the reason God has been pruning your heart, the reason the Holy Spirit has been sharpening your perception. So that when they appear, you will not be deceived, you will not stumble, and you will not allow the past to claim authority over your future. You might encounter subtle manipulations, praise that feels too familiar, charm that tempts your ego, insinuations that tug at unresolved guilt or shame. But child, the discernment that has been growing inside you will act as a shield, revealing the true intention behind every word and action, because what seems innocent in the natural may carry spiritual weight. And this test is designed to measure whether you have truly aligned your identity with God rather than your past experiences. You may recall moments when their presence once caused storms in your emotions, nights spent replaying arguments or betrayals, days when their absence felt like a wound that would never heal. But the beauty of growth is that those memories now serve as markers of distance, proof that you have walked beyond their influence. And while they may speak as if nothing has changed, your spirit knows the truth, and that awareness is the cornerstone of victory. Because recognition precedes authority, and in this encounter, you are walking in authority over the past that once claimed dominion over you. There will be moments when your flesh wants to engage, to justify, to reopen conversations that lead nowhere, to give explanations to someone who may not even be listening, and this is where obedience becomes your weapon, for silence spoken in the spirit carries far more power than words uttered in reaction, and as you stand firm, you will notice subtle shifts in the atmosphere, the tension will bend, the energy will change, and divine favor will begin to manifest in real time, because the angels assigned to you are activating around your obedience, and the Lord is moving invisibly to ensure that your victory is not only certain but also undeniable. Be aware, beloved, that this person may test you in multiple ways, through temptation to revert to old patterns, through the evocation of guilt, through attempts to provoke anger, through distractions that tried to shift your focus from destiny to nostalgia, and even through flattery that attempts to disarm your spiritual senses, yet each attempt will serve only to strengthen your discernment, to reveal the depth of your growth, and to prepare you for the acceleration that awaits on the other side. You may feel an internal tug-of-war between compassion and caution, between curiosity and wisdom, and this is precisely why you must anchor yourself in the Spirit, because the Lord has equipped you to navigate this test with grace, power, and clarity, turning potential pitfalls into moments of triumph, for what appears as a test in the natural is a launchpad in the spiritual. A chance to prove that your identity is now rooted in divine authority rather than human approval, and as you navigate this encounter with integrity, you will witness a chain reaction of blessings that could not have been accessed without this precise moment of obedience. Remember, the past will attempt to whisper lies, to stir old wounds, to entice regression, but your growth will speak louder, your maturity will act as a guide, your obedience will serve as the proof that you are no longer bound by the patterns that once held you, and even if this person leaves unchanged, even if they do not recognize the transformation in you, the impact of your steadfastness will reverberate through spiritual realms, unlocking doors, removing barriers, and activating favor in ways unseen, because every act of growth demonstrated in this test becomes a catalyst for divine acceleration, a trigger for supernatural intervention, and a testimony that will inspire generations. So, child, brace your heart, steel your mind, anchor your spirit, and know this: what is coming is designed to illuminate your strength, magnify your faith, and confirm that the steps you have taken in the shadows, in the quiet, in the unseen, have prepared you for a destiny that cannot be shaken by the past. And when you walk through this trial with discernment, patience, and courage, you will finally see, with undeniable clarity, that what once threatened to hold you back was always meant to launch you forward into a season of triumph, provision, and supernatural alignment, for the Lord and His angels are orchestrating every detail to ensure that your obedience here will produce fruit beyond anything you could have imagined, solidifying your testimony that growth, when anchored in God, is unshakable, unstoppable, and victorious. Beloved child, now comes the moment where everything aligns, where the preparation, the tests, the silent battles, and the spiritual discernment you have cultivated converge into a revelation so powerful that it will redefine the trajectory of your life, because the one from your past who appears to test you is not here to trap you, to hurt you, or to steal your peace, but to demonstrate, in the most tangible way, how far you have truly come. And when you walk into this encounter with the wisdom, courage, and authority God has placed within you, you will see the entire plan unfold like a tapestry, every thread of trial, every shadow of doubt, every whisper of fear transforming into proof of your spiritual maturity, evidence of your obedience, and confirmation of your readiness to receive what has been stored for you in heaven. Do not be deceived into thinking that this is about them, for the Lord has made it clear that this is about you, about the elevation of your spirit, about the manifestation of a strength that cannot be shaken, a peace that cannot be disturbed, and a testimony that will echo through generations, because the encounters we fear the most often carry the keys to the blessings we have longed for. And what once would have ensnared you now becomes the very platform upon which your destiny is built, and, as you step forward, anchored in discernment, and guided by the Spirit, you will feel a release so profound that every lingering doubt and every latent fear dissolves, replaced by a divine certainty that what you are walking through is not just a test but a transition, a launch pad from limitation to elevation. You will notice, even in the subtle moments, how the atmosphere shifts, how unseen forces align in your favor, how every word spoken, every emotion stirred, and every gesture offered serves only to validate your growth and highlight the authority you now carry, because heaven watches and records obedience, and when you stand firm, the angels themselves will proclaim your victory, opening pathways that were once blocked, dismantling obstacles that seemed insurmountable, and activating favor in realms you cannot yet perceive, all because you chose to rise above the pull of nostalgia, the temptation to revert, and the allure of familiarity, knowing in your heart that the future God has for you is infinitely greater than anything left behind. This person from your past may leave unchanged, they may return to their old patterns, they may not even understand the magnitude of the moment, but that is of no consequence, for their role was never to accompany you into the next season but to illuminate your readiness, to reveal your resilience, and to provide the stage for your breakthrough. And as you move through this with integrity, grace, and steadfastness, you will witness supernatural confirmations, doors swinging open, blessings raining down, opportunities appearing in alignment with your calling, and testimonies forming that will encourage others who have walked through similar trials. Remember, child, every challenge from the past is now a victory, every temptation is now a training ground, and every memory is now a monument to your growth. And as you navigate this final encounter with discernment and obedience, you will feel the weight of the old lifted, the chains broken, and the mantle of authority placed firmly upon your shoulders. Because God and His angels have orchestrated every detail to ensure that your obedience produces not only personal triumph but a ripple effect that touches your family, your community, and the spiritual realm in ways beyond human comprehension, proving that tests are not punishments, that trials are not setbacks, and that the past is never stronger than the God who guides your future. Stand now, child, in the fullness of what you have learned, in the strength of what you have overcome, in the clarity of the wisdom God has given you, and let this encounter seal the reality that you are no longer bound by what was, no longer held hostage by fear, no longer entangled in old cycles, but fully prepared to step into the abundance, favor, and purpose that heaven has meticulously prepared for you. Because when the test ends, your victory begins, your testimony begins, your breakthrough manifests, and your life, now anchored in obedience and discernment, will serve as proof to all who witness it that growth anchored in God is unstoppable, unshakable, and divinely victorious, and the angels, the heavens, and even your own spirit will rejoice in the undeniable truth: you have passed the test, you have embraced the lesson, and you are now fully elevated into the destiny that has been written for you since before the foundations of the world.